When most people picture the Buddha, they imagine a heavy-set, laughing figure. But the historical Siddhartha Gautama was a fiercely disciplined human ascetic. He treated tranquility as a tactical asset, using it to wage a calculated, relentless war against the concept of human suffering itself. To win that war, he had to do something completely counterintuitive. He abandoned ultimate political power to build a completely different kind of empire. That empire began here, in the ancient gardens of Lumbini, Nepal. The Shakya clan ruled this region, and their political ambitions were massive. When the prince, Siddhartha, was born, a royal prophecy laid out two highly divergent paths for his future. He would either become a ruthless, world-conquering king or a wandering spiritual sage. His father, King Siddhartha, wanted the conqueror. To guarantee that outcome, the king engineered a flawless artificial reality, constructing heavy palace walls specifically designed to blind the growing boy to any evidence of sickness, aging, or death. Inside this strictly guarded bubble, Siddhartha thrived. He mastered elite martial arts, married, and secured the Shakya dynasty's lineage with a son. By every worldly metric, he had won. He possessed absolute security, royal authority, and limitless wealth. But his entire existence was a synthetic illusion, waiting for a single crack to bring it down. That crack appeared in his late 20s, when intense curiosity finally pushed him to venture outside the palace gates. In rapid succession, he witnessed three things his father had desperately hidden: an elderly man stripped of strength, a person ravaged by disease, and a decaying corpse. The impact was devastating. Siddhartha realized that biological decay was absolute, and that all his royal wealth could not save himself, his wife, or his son from eventual destruction. Then he saw a fourth sight, a wandering ascetic. This man possessed nothing, yet appeared entirely serene. He offered a radical alternative framework for surviving a doomed physical body. Siddhartha reacted with total conviction. In the dead of night, he sheared off his hair, abandoned his family, and walked away from the throne. Confronting raw mortality did exactly what his father feared. It turned the ultimate heir of the kingdom into its greatest defector. For the next 6 years, he waged a brutal campaign against his own biology. Joining forest ascetics, he practiced extreme self-mortification, starving himself until his ribs protruded and his stomach caved in. But pushing his body to the brink of death failed to provide any answers. This graphic illustrates his extremes, swinging violently from absolute royal luxury to total physical starvation. Both extremes destroyed the mind's clarity. He called his new protocol the middle way, finding the precise calibration point between indulgence and deprivation to achieve psychological liberation. He put this theory to the test sitting beneath a Bodhi tree in modern-day Bihar. Facing intense internal resistance, represented in Buddhist texts as the demon Mara, he held his ground, calling on the earth to witness his unbreakable focus. In that moment, he achieved enlightenment. The failed royal and failed ascetic became the Buddha, securing an empire of the mind that no physical weapon could threaten. For the next 45 years, he traveled the Ganges plain. He built a widespread community that bypassed India's rigid caste system, proving that spiritual liberation belonged to anyone, regardless of their birth. Yet his own body continued to age. He suffered from chronic back pain and ultimately contracted a fatal illness after eating a meal offered by a local blacksmith. On his deathbed, his followers begged him to name a human successor. He refused, strictly instructing them to rely only on the teachings themselves. In the end, his own physical decay validated his core teaching. Impermanence claims everything, making his surrender to death the final confirmation of his philosophy. His physical body was reduced to ashes, but his philosophy rapidly scaled. This map tracks how the middle way radiated out of northern India, crossing borders and oceans without a centralized army or a conquering ruler. While modern society measures success through acquisition, Siddhartha built an enduring legacy through the act of letting go. He renounced a physical kingdom, and in doing so, built a spiritual empire that has lasted over 2 millennia. If you want to explore more histories of power, philosophy, and consequence, subscribe to Empire Snapshots.